What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Stocks with Mike and Tom show. Today was a brutal day in the stock market. So many stocks tanked down anywhere from like 5 to 20%. In this video, we're going to explain exactly why this is happening, some important stocks to watch for the rest of the week, and other very important news that you need to know about because the stock market, it's very crazy right now. But this volatility is only just beginning. So make sure to stick around to the end of today's video. But Tom, tell us what happened in the market today.
Yeah, it was brutal. So the SPY was selling off in pre-market and a lot of stocks actually gapped down, and then the selling pressure continued all throughout the day. So we can see the SPY pretty much hit lows today, Mike, of $396.50, well below $400. So we had a pretty steep sell-off today. It was brutal. I hate to see the market down this much. And like you said, a lot of stocks were down from 5 to 20%. Going to some of our favorites like DraftKings, they were down 16%. We have Zoom down 4.2% there. That's pretty interesting. They're starting to break below $100, which is a huge level on their chart. We have companies like Upstart here getting killed in after hours with their earnings. Some people in Discord said to call this one Downstart now with how much it's going down. But I mean, man, it was brutal today, Mike. The selling pressure continues, and it's just, I think, just increased fear, kind of leading in from last week. You know, Powell spoke, and the Fed started raising rates. They raised them by 50 basis points, and initially the market popped, but as we know, on Friday the market gave those gains right back. So it's a tough one here, but I have a bad feeling the SPY is going to keep selling off. And on the daily chart, just some of these technicals are terrible right now. Like, we're breaking below supports. We're confirming off of trend line to the downside. And even like with VIX here, VIX is even getting crazy, Mike. It's starting to kind of break out.
Yeah, and then also check out TNX. Basically, rates are just skyrocketing right now. And when rates rise, it kind of just slows down everything in the economy. But it's necessary when we're seeing the inflation that we currently have. So the reason the stock market's falling is, well, rates are rising, but also there's a lot of increased fear. Kind of like what Tom said from last week, but also like recession-related fears and even hyperinflation-related fears. On top of that, we're seeing a giant snowball effect. So basically, when the stock market moves, most of the time it's very dramatic, either to the upside or the downside. And we're definitely seeing that right now to the downside. When stocks are falling, you have short sellers like in dreamland because stocks are getting destroyed. That causes stocks to go lower, and that causes the people who own those stocks to sell out. And that drives the stock even lower. And then more people say, oh no, the stock's down this much. Is it going to go to zero? I don't know. And then even more people sell out, which drives the stock even lower. And we just have a giant snowball effect. And because of those four factors, that's why the stock market's getting destroyed.
Yeah, it really is. It's brutal, Mike. And I hope that the selling pressure can stop sometime soon. But I have a feeling this might continue for a couple more weeks, you know, with the inflation getting crazy. And I feel like that it's finally just starting to break below some key levels, kind of like $400. That's a huge psychological level there. And that's also just breaking huge supports. You know, we had big supports here on the SPY right around like 410. So to see us falling off this low is just really unfortunate. And, you know, we've had some news with Russia over the past couple of weeks too. And I know that today was actually Victory Day, Mike, and there was a lot of pictures on CNBC about this. And some people thought that, you know, Putin might try to push into Mariupol with Victory Day going on, but so far that has not happened. You can see here's some pictures of the Victory Day parade. You know, there's a whole bunch of things like some of their troops there. And if you go down, you can see some tanks, some ICBMs. You can even see some of their soldiers kind of like carrying some AK-74s. So pretty crazy to see all of these revelations going on. But what's crazy is whenever Putin talked today, he gave a speech and he kind of talked about, you know, the battle against fascism and Nazism. And of course, Victory Day is celebrating the defeat of the Nazis in World War II. So, you know, he was kind of calling the battle in Ukraine kind of similar to a battle against like Nazism. So it's interesting to see him saying that, Mike. I know that, you know, he's a pretty controversial figure, and I would think if anyone was the Nazi here, it was him. But you know, maybe I'm wrong, but either way, that's what he's pushing.
Yep, exactly. So very interesting there. Obviously, the situation between Russia and Ukraine has not been getting any better. So we'll see. On another note, Tom, we do have a pretty action-packed week in terms of economic data, but also earnings.
Yeah, we do. So with the economic data, we have the CPI data coming out on Wednesday, along with the core inflation rate, and then just also the inflation rate year over year. So definitely be on the lookout here. That CPI index is going to be huge to look at there. So definitely be on edge Wednesday. The Feds and Powell and everyone like that, they pay a lot of attention to this data. So definitely keep that on the radar, 8:30 a.m. Eastern time on Wednesday. But you're right, Mike, there's huge earnings. And even tonight, we saw Upstart get killed in after hours, and AMC reported along with Plug Power. But tomorrow we have Peloton before open. Then after close, we have Roblox, Oxy, Coinbase, Unity, Win, Matterport. So yeah, definitely an action-packed week here.
Yeah, lots of big earnings, so feel free to screenshot this or whatever you guys want. It's going to be an important week in that sense. But yeah, Tom, I mean, looking at stocks overall, it was just a brutal day. And I know we talked about Rivian a little bit yesterday and how Ford and then also an anonymous seller was dumping at least part of their Rivian, I guess you can say stake.
Yeah, they really are. So Ford's unloading 8 million shares, and there's a block being sold by JP Morgan Chase here between 13 and 15 million shares. So that's even more than how much Ford sold off. But either way here, Rivian stock got killed today, Mike, down 20%. I know we talked about this a lot yesterday, and we kind of forecasted that, the stock might sell off in pre-market, and man, it really did, hitting lows at the end of day around 22.45. Like I said, down 20%. And it's getting more brutal for these EV companies, Mike. Even Lucid followed them down. They were down another 10% after that brutal earnings report last week. So it's getting bad here for these EV companies. They definitely need some good production numbers to help turn their stocks around. But as we've seen on these earnings here, it's been getting kind of worse rather than better. Although I will say, hopefully it gets better here over the next year.
No doubt. So, Tom, looking at the market, what are some of your favorite setups for the rest of the week?
Yeah, it's rough. So a lot of these plays are to the downside, unfortunately. But one of my favorite setups is honestly with the SPY. I really think the SPY is in a pretty brutal sell-off here, and I think it might continue. Like I talked about, we're breaking some very key levels. I think $400 is huge here for the SPY, and it's not even just like the SPY in these bigger stocks. It was almost every stock sold off today. One stock though that does like to go up recently is Kraft Heinz. I will say, Mike, this is getting really close to a pretty big support up here, or resistance, I should say, around $45. And I think Kraft could possibly keep going. Look at this. It actually had a nice green candle today on a day where a lot of stocks were falling off. So I'll take the green movement here, and maybe this will be a nice stock to watch for the next couple of days. I know Walmart also went up a little bit, so maybe they'll be another one to keep on the radar. I know these slower movers, Mike, have been pretty good overall, especially with the market selling off, especially Kraft lately, like on their daily chart. They've been really kind of flying up, but some of these oil plays today started pulling back, like Oxy fell back down 10%. So who knows, maybe we'll see oil start to fall back down.
All right, there we go. So before we move on, I just want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, Marama Dina. Thank you so much for being a great member of the Stocked Up Discord chat. Tom and I really appreciate you. Thanks so much for all the support and activity. But Tom, let's get right into these momentum plays for tomorrow. With the first one, we have Square to the downside.
Yeah, poor Square here. Go ahead and make them break below $80 even. I think that'll be a nice even level to look at.
Right. With the next one, we have Enphase also to the downside.
Yeah, poor Enphase here. Go ahead and make them break below 146. Man, Enphase really gapped down today, Mike. It's been brutal for these energy plays this week.
Yep. And then with the last one, we have MU also to the downside.
Yeah, the semiconductor. Go ahead and make them break below 67.36.
All right, so we are watching these three plays for potential day trades to the downside tomorrow, only if they break below the levels Tom listed. But Tom, we definitely have to showcase that bot play from today. The bot just sniped The Corsair 15 strike call options, it called it out at $85 each, and it popped all the way up to $152 each. That's almost a 79% pop with a call play on a day where the stock market got destroyed. So if you trade options, check out that first link in the description and the comments down below. You can cancel at any time. The bot's awesome. You're not going to find it anywhere else. You get access to daily options day trades every single day with our bot. It's awesome. Try it out at least for a month. You know, the bot just sniped the Corsair calls, especially on a day where it was pretty bloody for the market. So definitely check it out. Link down below. But Tom, heading into tomorrow, there's a ton of volatility to be expected. Even these powerhouse companies like, you know, the S&P 500, but also like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, and Tesla are just sinking. So do you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, it's brutal. You know, the selling pressure just is continuing day by day. And I was kind of hoping that it would be stopping sometime soon. But now that we're seeing the SPY break these key levels like $400 and just continuing to fall with these big tech stocks, I definitely think we might continue down for the next few days. But you know, it's going to be choppy, guys. We probably won't go straight down. There's probably going to be some green days still sprinkled in here. So, you know, don't just buy puts expecting the market to go straight down. You know, you might see little pops like at market open or throughout the day and stuff like that too. So always keep that in mind. But yeah, the selling pressure is terrible, Mike. You're right. Tesla is looking brutal here. They recently had that low all the way down around 700, and man, I'll honestly kind of expect them to come back down and retest that. I know you and Hunter have put out some amazing videos lately regarding Tesla too. So we'll throw those down in the comments.
Here we go. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you are new here and you like the video, make sure to subscribe. And if you trade options, definitely check out that first link in the description in the comments down below. Besides that, let's have an amazing week.